Hello. So in this lab, we will be analyzing the security of web application using Burp Suite. So Burp Suite tools include proxy, which can be used to intercept and modify web traffic, and spider to crawl web applications, scanner to discover vulnerability, and an intruder for carrying out automatic customized attack against web application. So our goal for this lab will be, first we will configure proxy setting so that all traffic will pass through Burp Suite. That is what we have entered in browser will be intercepted by Burp Suite and will pass through that. And next we will explore Burp Suite features and use Burp Spider tool, which is used to crawl to the web application, which is called to use to the web pages present in a web application. Then we will exploit a cross-site scripting vulnerability. In cross-site scripting vulnerability, the attacker can get the session cookie of a user and can log in on his behalf. And our last objective will be to configure Burp Suite for HTTPS request. As earlier we have uh, only configured Burp Suite for HTTP request, not for HTTPS request. So for HTTPS request, it requires certificate and other thing. So Burp Suite by default does not intercept that request. So we will configure for Burp Suite for that. So these are our objective for this lab. So these are our goals. That is, first we will configure proxy setting and then explore Burp Suite and Spider tools, and then expert cross-site scripting vulnerability and how it can damage. And at last we will configure burp proxy for HTTPS. So after completing this goal, we will be able to explore and get features of the burp suite, and how burp suite have intruder technique to detect any vulnerability in a website. And lastly, we configure burp suite for HTTPS. One application for burp suite can be seen as when an attacker send a malicious email and provide a URL which redirect a user to some website, and the attacker get the session cookie of the user and can log in on the user behalf. So these all things we will be seeing in this lab. So this is all for this lab. So coming to our first objective, which is to configure Burp Suite as an HTTP proxy so that it can intercept all the requests. This thing we have done in many labs also. But here noted that here we are configuring only for HTTP proxy, not for HTTPS proxy. This will be done in the later part of this video. So until now we will be configuring only for HTTP proxy. So if we visit any HTTPS site, so that will not be intercepted by Burp Suite and we will get an error, because these sites require SSL certificate, which we will be seeing later. So to configure as an HTTP proxy, we will go to preferences, then advanced, then connection settings, and manual proxy configuration. And here we will provide the HTTP address, which is 127. So here we will provide the HTTP address, which is 127.0.127.0.0.1, and here port will specify 8080, and click on use this proxy server for all interface. This we have done in nearly all labs, how to set any application as a web proxy. We will specify HTTP proxy address and port number on which the web application is running, and click on OK. So and click close Firefox. So our first objective is achieved, that is we have configured Burp Suite as an HTTP proxy. So we'll continue our exercise. So now come to our second objective. We will be exploring Burp Suite and use Burp Spider tools. So we will open our Burp Suite and click on proxy tab to off intercept. Here intercept is on. So if we off intercept, we will still go means all the requests that will be sent by web browser, that will still go through the burp suite but will not be intercept, so that so burp suite will not hold message for your approval before forwarding. That is, we does not have to click on forward each time, and it will be seen by burp suite still. So we will click on intercept is off, and we can still see the web traffic using burp suite. So now we will go to the Firefox and enter the URL specified, which is of the BW app login page, which is http 192.168.1.105 BW app PHP, and enter the credentials specified here, which is B. Now if we doesn't off the intercept, then this page will not be loaded and until we have forwarded it from the burp suite. But we have off the intercept, so there is no need to forward each time we'll send. But this information, that is I entering login B and bug, this can be seen by the burp suite, as it is still acting as a web proxy but will not be intercepting. So we will click on login. Now we will go to our burp suite and their target tab. So we can see here that the site we have visited is shown here. So we first, before using the spider attack, we have to limit our scope of attack, that is which of the URL we have to spider or which of them are not, because it will be difficult if we spider all the URLs. So what does spidering means? First of all, spidering or web crawling is the process of automatically following the links on a web page to discover both static and dynamic resources of a web application. That is, by using spidering, the burp suite can discover pages which are linked together and can discover static and dynamic web resources that are present in a web application. So so to discover those, we have to specify the URL on which we have to perform the spider. So to perform a spidering on a specific URL, we will click on that URL and click on add to scope. So now we can see that this URL will be added to the scope. Now we will use spider to get more information on some of these URL. So we'll go back to the sitemap and right click on our this which we have added in the scope and click on spider this host. So it is showing some of these items are those. Some of these items are outside the current spidering scope. Would you like to modify your scope? Yes. So we will click on yes, which is specified in the right side also, and we have click on ignore form. So it will crawl on all the web pages and will give us information about them, and we have achieved our second objective also. So we can see that after performing this spidering, it gives us the list of all the link of web pages that it has found, like .php, .js, and .vs. And we have it also provides us the some web forms that require some authentication. So we have ignored those forms when prompted, which we have done earlier. And we can also click on any specific URL like this one and click on spider from here to spider some specific URL. So these are all the uh, uses of burp suite to do a spider attack and get all the web pages that are linked together, which are not accessed simply. So this is also mentioned here that we get we discover both static and dynamic web pages of a web application. So our second objective is also achieved here. So now we will come to our most important objective of this lab, which is to know and exploit reflected cross-site scripting vulnerability in the web application. So cross-site scripting enable attacker to inject web client-side script into web pages. Since this script in a web browser, malicious script can use private information held by browser. Now we will look into detail what is cross-site scripting. So by using this, the attacker can get the session of a user and can use that cookie to log in into the website. So uh, f- uh, this 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 part is divided into four subparts. That is, first we will log in into our web application, and the web applications and know that how our browser send us a cookie back. So we will log in into our web application, and application send us our session cookie. And so this is done to ensure that for every subsequent transaction, the user doesn't require to enter its login and password again and again. Then we will find out cross-site scripting vulnerability by running a script in the web browser, and then we will an attacker will send us an email, and we will go to website, and the attacker can get our session cookie, and we will verify that attacker get the session cookie by logging into the attacker machine. So we can see this from the diagram also, that first prepare to discover a website vulnerability having a script that enables script injection. That is, first we will discover that our website is vulnerable to cross-site scripting vulnerability, that we will discover by injecting subscript in the website. So the website doesn't verify and the script will run. So we will verify that the website is vulnerable to cross-site scripting. Then that injects some malicious script, and when user visit that website, the malicious script is activated, and visitor session cookie is sent to the, so the user session cookie will be sent to the attacker. So this can be seen here also, that attacker send a scripted injected link to the victim, and victim click on link on the requested legitimate website, and victim, when it click on the link, the malicious script will run, and attacker can get access to the uh, uh, user cookie and can log in into that application. So this all will be clear when we do our lab, and at last I will be showing this diagram which will be more clear that how this attack is performed. So first we will be login into the our Kali machine and go to that web application login page. So we will be going at the login page, http. So we will log in b bug, click on login. Now from here we will select cross-site scripting reflected get. This one, cross-site scripting, and click on hack. So first we will be providing a valid credential, like first name I have provided John, next one Smith, and click on go. So it will simply print hello John Smith, welcome John Smith. the credential I am providing will be printed as it is on this. Now to examine what happened here, or if the this web page is vulnerable to cross-site scripting or not, we will go to our burp suite to intercept what I have done. So we will go to proxy and go to HTTP history tab to know what we have done. So we will see in the bottom HTTP GET request was sent by our web browser to the server so that it can print the first name and last name. So it has provided a GET request to know what is the first name, but it has not cross verify and and run the and run the input it get from the web server. So we'll click on this and send it to the intruder to know the vulnerability present in this. So we'll click on send to the intruder, as this feature will help us to detect any vulnerability and run any scan. So so the target host and port was specified earlier, and we will click on the payload tab, enter a script that might be so we will check it if we can enter any other script or not. So we will add any script that is specified here and click on alert document dot cookie. So if the site is vulnerable to cross-site scripting, it will not verify the payload we have provided. That is, instead of first name we have provided this payload, and this will be specified in the website. So when the user click on that, this script will run. So it has not cross verified what the user has entered or not. So we have provided the script and added that, and then we will click on start attack and click on OK. So it will run this script. So we'll select any request that is we have achieved in the top half, and here we can see in the response tab what it is doing. So here in the parameters tab and in the response tab, we can search for alert if this response is present in the script or not. So first we have click on first request, but we doesn't get any alert there. So we'll click on third request, and we can find one match in welcome alert document dot cookie Smith. So he has replaced the first name with the alert document dot cookie script which we have provided. So it has not verified what input we are providing or not, and simply putting that on the output screen. So this script will be run. This showed that intruder was able to get BW application to include your script in its response to submission of the form. The script was returned in the first name and the last name. So we can verify that we can provide this script in the first name field. So we will close our intruder window and go to our web application to verify that we can provide any script input in the first name, and that will be executed. So we will provide this script input script type. So this will be this script is for pop-up that will occur when we click on go button. as we have specified alert document.cookie. And in the last name we will specify only name, and when we click on go we will see an alert with our session id mentioned. Here we can see that alert, and this is our session id which is mentioned here. So we have seen that this site is vulnerable to cross-site scripting attack, as it doesn't verify the input we have provided, and we can run script on this website. So if we can run any script on this website is vulnerable to cross-site scripting. Now we will see how attacker can use this opportunity to steal your session cookie. So it is also shown in the above that this attack worked because the web application did not check if the value entered for the name was valid and simply returned whatever was typed in. In this case, the name was a script, that is first name was a script, and we have provided script that will be run. So that's why it is vulnerable to cross-site scripting attack. Now we will see how an attacker can exploit this vulnerability to steal our session cookie and log in on our behalf by using our session cookie. So they have said that we have to imagine a scenario that we get an email saying that we have won a prize, and we have redirected to a site named this to claim that. So we can do this side by side, that when we click on the link we are redirected to the specified URL which is 107 to claim that prize. So when we click on that, here we can see the interface, congratulations you won. So this is typically a interface that we have won any prize, but as in when we click here, then we will be redirected to BWF site, login site. As something strange happened and we have achieved the objective, something strange happened. Instead of being told how to claim our prize, we are redirected to the BWF login page. So but there is something important that occur when we click on back. When we click on back page and inspect element, we can see here that this URL is running a script. Means here first name is provided as script, which we can see XSS. If I can zoom screen, yes, now we can see here that here we can see that http 192.128 bwf this login page is URL is provided, and first name, instead of first name it has provided some script which will send the our cookie to that attacker, and in the second name it has specified the Smith and form equal to submit whenever we have. So here it is specifying document.cookie. So whenever I click on this link, document.cookie will take cookie from my web server and will send that to the attacker, and attacker can get our access to our web cookie. So we can verify this also. So before that, let's look at the same scenario by using the diagram what attacker is doing intentionally. So attacker has posted the script on the website database. Means like in this, it has posted a script on the link which is specified click here, and specified the parameter first name equal to script and last name equal to Smith. And when any victim PC, which is this green one, click on that website, then it will be this script will run on the web browser of the victim PC, and victim PC will send its cookie to the attacker, as document.cookie will be taken from the victim PC as specified here, cookie document.cookie. So the PC on which this script will be run will be document.cookie will take cookie from that PC which is victim PC. So we'll take cookie from the victim PC and send that to the attacker. So the same I have shown here, this is done here. Now we will verify if our session cookie was stolen or not. So for that we will go to the attacker PC. So for this we will use here from attacker PC. Now we are on the attacker machine, so we will open terminal and know if we get any cookie or not. So for that, cat means print loot and session ID. If it has get any ID or session ID cookie, then it will print that. So we can see that it has print the session cookie which it get. So we'll copy this cookie and use this cookie to log in. Copy, and then we will go to the browser, Firefox. Now attacker will use this session ID to log in into the BWF web application. Now this web application can be very much sensitive, so user can get all the credential as session will be hijacked by the attacker. So now we will go to login page of the BWF web application 192.168.1.105 BW app login.php. So here we will go to developer tools. So for that we will go to developer in toggle tools, so that we can replace the cookie here, cookie value, with the cookie we get earlier. So we will add our cookie here and paste it what we have copied. So we have pasted our session cookie in the value field specified here. Now when we go to portal.php, so from here also we can go to now. First of all, we will close this developer tool and go to portal.php. Now we have logged in into the portal.php, but why? Because session cookie is stored here, and by using that session cookie we will get access to this and see the page that set security level. Your security level is not set. That's why security level is low, so we get access to the website, and we have achieved our we get to know how attacker use the session cookie to log in into the page. So he has steal the session cookie of the user. So now we will configure our burp proxy for https request. So as most website uses https protocol, as it encrypt all the communication between the browser and web application. So we will see the browser will not connect to any https web application unless it is provided a web certificate. So now we will enter the https URL, which is in the web browser, https. So we will see a security issue here, as Burp Suite cannot able to intercept the https certificate. So we'll see that insecure connection on the top bar, and your connection is not secure. So when you connect to So it is also written here, when we connect to HTTP website via Burp, the proxy generate an SSL certificate for the host, signed by its own certification authority. So signed by this certification authority generate the first time Burp is run and store it locally using the pursuit with the HTTP website. You will need to install Burp certification authority as a trusted root in your browser. So let me explain this. So whenever we visit any website, that website will send any certificate, SSL certificate, but as Burp is acting as a proxy, that certificate will be sent to the Burp. Now Burp will sign this certificate that it get from the web browser by its own certification authority, which is Burp Suite certification authority. So when it come to the browser, it identify that this certification authority is not that much valid, because Burp Suite certification authority is not valid. Only the certification authority which sent the previous certificate to the Burp Suite is valid. So to we have to configure that Burp Suite certificate is a trusted root in your browser, which is written here. You will need to install Suite CA certificate as a trusted root in your web browser. Then it will be able to intercept that. So we have opened the Firefox and we will go to Burp. And it will connect us to proxy management interface, and we will click on CA certificate in our web browser and save this file. And now we will install this certificate. So for that, we'll click on three bar and click on the button with three horizontal this, and select preferences, go to advanced tab, select the certificates and click on view certificates, and in the authorities tab we will click on import and select the Burp certificate which we have downloaded just now, and click on open, and we'll check the box for trust this CA to identify websites and click on OK and OK. Now we will restart our Firefox so that this setting will be configured, and we have achieved our last objective also. So we'll close all tabs. Now we have installed the certificate, but we will have to enable SSL proxy in our web browser. So for that we will again go to the preferences, go to advanced and go to network and settings, and we have checked the box for use this proxy for all address and click on OK. Now we will verify we will able to connect in HTTPS 192.168 BW app login.php, and we will go to advanced and add exception and configure security exception, and we are able to get into the login page and in the HTTPS secure site. So we have connected to the BW app application over HTTPS, means secure site, and we can also go to Burp Suite and examine this connection, that is proxy HTTP history tab, and examine the web traffic. We'll go to proxy tab HTTP history. And we can see here that before this all the connection was of HTTP. After that we get the connections of HTTPS. So this is all for this lab. Now let us summarize what we have performed in this lab. So first, we have configured proxy setting for HTTP proxy so that all traffic pass through the Burp Suite, and then we explore Burp Suite and Burp Spider tools which are present to crawl to the web pages that are linked together and to explore dynamic and static web pages. And then we look at the cross-site scripting vulnerability. So we first log in into the web application, then discover that this site is vulnerable to cross-site scripting attack by using the intruder feature and inject some script. Therefore, we get to know that this site is vulnerable to cross-site scripting attack. Then there is scenario that attacker we visit a site and attacker steal our session cookie, and we verify that by going to back browser page, and there we see inspect element and see the URL that for first name it is specifying a script and second name it has specified something else, and then we verify that cookie was stolen, and then we log on to the attacker computer and get session cookie. And then we configure burp suite for HTTPS to configure burp proxy for HTTP request. So this is all for we have done. So after perform, if we have to summarize in this lab, we get to know that burp suite can be used as a proxy to intercept and modify the request and to know any vulnerability present in the any web application using the intruder feature, so that we get to know that if any vulnerability is present in the web server or not, and the attacker can use this to run any script and other things to inject some malicious code. And at last we get to know about how to configure burp for intercepting HTTP request also. So this is all for this lab, and thank you.